In this video, I'm going to tell you about a dream that came true regarding my very first church dinner and how it didn't turn out at all as we expected. Names have been changed to protect the privacy of the people involved. In 1995, my family, my husband and kids and I were living in Okinawa, Japan on a military base, and I was experiencing prolific dream recall and frequent precognitive dreams. Sometimes they showed up in waking life the same day, or a week, or a month, or a year later, sometimes much longer. I never knew which ones would show up or when, so I was determined to keep as much of a record of them as possible, as I had hopes that one day the sheer number of them would shift the thinking of some non-believers, starting with my husband. In 1996, we moved back to the States in Southern California and began the process of reacclimating to life in the States. We tried to make friends with our new neighbors, and I learned that one of our neighbors was a pastor at a non-denominational church. In January of 1998, I started going to that church and found myself getting very involved there. Back to 1995. The dream was Paul and I were at church, sitting in pews, waiting for something. A friend of ours was there and told us they had good food there, an all-you-can-eat buffet. And that's what we were there for. A preacher started to speak, and we were just wondering when we were going to get to eat. Well, Paul was a devout atheist, and there is no way I could have gotten him to go to a church, and he had never been to a church, nor had I been to one the entire time I had known him, other than a wedding of a friend. So I surely never expected this one to come to pass, and yet, back to 1998, I was getting involved in this non-denominational church, and even volunteered there for a while. They were having a dinner event coming up, and I thought it would be a good way to introduce my husband to what I was up to there. He had to work all day, but agreed to come directly from work. He was hungry after a long day of work. Unbeknownst to us, the pastor had other plans. She had devised a lesson, a teaching event, called a hunger banquet. Once people arrived, we could see a few rows of tables with white tablecloths set for dinner. They were going to be served by waiters. The rest of the people were to sit on the floor on the carpet, and we would only receive a plain bowl of white rice while she gave a lecture about poverty and famine in the world. Can you guess which group we were sorted into? Seeing Paul sitting on the floor after a long day at work to get a plain bowl of white rice, while the other people sat at decorated tables getting served delicious smelling food. It's a miracle he didn't stand up and say, "You've got to be kidding me." To his credit, he sat there and was very polite, but I knew. As you might imagine, my husband was not impressed with this stunt. He was the last person who needed instruction on poverty, as he saw it all day at his job. And it didn't help that the pastor was driving a Cadillac at the time, and she and her family were seated at the tables being served by waiters along with other privileged few. This was enough for him to completely dismiss the whole enterprise. Later, when I told the pastor about my husband's response, she actually told me she would like to do that event again sometime. That was enough for me. But then she was driving a Prius after recognizing a Cadillac wasn't the kind of image she wanted to project. I think I did find this dream shortly after the event in 1998 to tell my husband about, but he was still reluctant to take it seriously. People need to have at least a sliver of interest to open their minds about things like this if they have not had their own experiences or grown up around others who have experienced it. Without that sliver of interest, it's probably not worth the effort in trying to convince them. Keeping a dream journal is a direct link to the magic of our dreams, and the experiences you may encounter can be awe-inspiring and even life-changing. If you would like to power up your dream recall, check out my video, 10 Ways to Improve Dream Recall. It's never too late to start keeping a dream journal. Why not start today? There are going to be many more stories like this one on my channel, so if you want to see more videos like this, please help support my channel by liking and subscribing. Hit that subscribe button now and leave a comment below. Perhaps share a dream of your own with us. I'll be checking out the comments below. If you want to learn even more, there is a link to my book in the description below for Sleeping with Spirit, A Journey with Psychic Dreams. I hope you found this interesting, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Sweet dreams.